Hey, guess what? This is Jerome Joseph live on Facebook and YouTube. And I have with me my good friend, fellow keynote speaker, Eugene. Eugene, say hi to everyone.
Hello, people, and Jerome, it's great to be with you online. And I heard you rocked it up today because you had something quite exciting to that you shared with a lot of people.
Oh, today I spoke to Prudential. There were over 1,000 people online, and I got to use my new gadgets and my new studio to really connect and speak to over 1,000 people online in the keynote. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I just did the keynote today. Next week, the closing keynote speaker for this client is going to be Eugene.
So we just found this out very recently, and I was having a conversation with Jerome on the entire experience of both of us liking a lot of stage presence, but now everything is done sitting in front of a computer.
Exactly. And so this live is very impromptu because I spoke to Eugene today and okay, one very important tip, by the way, is if you are a professional speaker or if you're a presenter and if you are speaking to an audience and your friend or your buddy has done it, please reach out to them and ask questions on what works, what doesn't work. So that's how me and Eugene got talking. And I'm excited for Eugene because he's a fabulous world-class keynote speaker. So Eugene, tell us a bit about this online virtual keynotes. I've seen you speak, right? So you are the kind of speaker that gets on stage, you are clapping, you are dancing, you got high energy, and I've seen that. How does that translate in a virtual keynote session?
So it's actually quite interesting because you're no longer looking into people's faces, but you're looking into a camera. So
Yes.
but from the speaker's perspective, you got to have strong visualization, strong imagination of a crowd, because that's what riles us up, right? And for me personally, I do that idea that I'm looking not at a camera but a sea of people, and that gets me excited. So it's even more important now that because we're doing it in the comforts of our own home, for us to get into that state where we are excited. So I have to do this pre-performance routine in order for me to get myself riled up, listen to some good music, and then pumped up and go for the keynote.
Hey, I absolutely agree with you, right? So I have my own routine. So this is a great tip, by the way. When I get on stage, and we both speak on big stages, when we get on stage, you need to have a pre-performance routine. So Eugene has just shared his. Let me share mine. So for me, it's if I'm in a live audience, of course, at the back of the room, you see me jumping, I'm dancing, I'm jumping, I'm doing the whole my voice thing. But in a virtual setting, I can't do that. So guess what I do? I run around my house. I run around my sofa. I'm like, oh, I run and I just get that heart beating. I have 2 cups of coffee because coffee gives me that really kick. And then what I do is I go into the toilet, I look into the mirror, and I say this to myself, Jerome, you got this. You can do this. You got this. And that's kind of my thing. I've been doing it for years. Not the running around the sofa that happened recently with COVID, but it's just this whole thing. And I love it. I love the fact that it's so important to be mentally prepared before a speech, isn't it?
Yes, it is very important. And the other thing that I think that's very useful to get you into that state is music. And both of us love music a lot. And we have this love for rock music, especially the old school ones. So I have a playlist of music that riles me up, and consists of quite similar ones with you, Jerome. Nirvana and Guns and Roses, and Metallica.
Oh, Guns N'
So
Roses.
so it's one of those classics, and it's very appropriate and it leads up to my talk, which is a lot to do with being a mental rock star, about being strong in the mind, but also not just strong, but being to shine like a rock star. So that gets me into that mood, and I think it's something that a lot of other speakers could do with some kind of a soundtrack of their own.
the soundtrack is important. And I remember once I heard you speak and you shared your own personal soundtrack. I have mine as well on Spotify. But you're right about music. So, but the thing about me is I changed music. So today, the music that was playing in my background it's called Lovely Day by Bill Withers. Lovely Day, Lovely Day, Lovely Day. And
Yes.
that was a song that and it's so funny you talked about it, right? But that was my song. That was my song today. So good. So we got the mental prep. Now, in the actual keynote, I mean, today when I did the keynote, I'm telling you, right? I've never worked this hard before in my life, running a keynote. So if you could see my room, I have got two cameras right down here. Not in this setup, but in my keynote setup, I've got two cameras looking at me. What you see behind is, of course, green screen. I have switches that I play around. So you see me move around the screen, different settings. Isn't it tough? You got to be speaking and you're playing with all these gadgets. How do you feel
Yeah.
doing all of that?
I think that's why we are called professional speakers, but we're actually professional technicians as well. Yeah. Because we have to be so good with not just now that you're doing these kind of keynotes online, you have to be good with multitasking, speaking and moving your hands at the same time. Back on the stage, we just just walk around and we just press a clicker. But now there are like tons of buttons all around. But it takes a little bit of practice, and that's what makes us professionals, I suppose, because we have to practice those sessions until we make it great, not just good, but great.
So I'm gonna tell you how many times I practiced for my session this morning. 18.
Wow.
18
Yeah.
times.
And that's
Just
why Jerome is a master of his craft.
thanks, my friend. I'm pretty sure, right? If I tell you how many times you have practiced, the number is going to be similar, isn't it? Or more.
Yeah, because we always want to give the right value to the client. I mean, if they are engaging professionals to round off their convention or to make it more exciting, then at the very least we have to deliver according to the level that they expect.
Good. So we talked about the tech, right? But let me talk about the heart of the matter. So the heart of the matter, at the end of the day, right? As a professional speaker, it's all about the power and the impact of your message. So we got this whole technician thing that we're doing, but at the same time, if our message is poor, we don't deliver the message right, or content is not up to mark, does that impact the virtual performance?
Oh, definitely. I definitely agree with that, because there are some of people who get so tied up with the idea of tech or
Yeah,
making it look really smooth or having that high definition camera that they forget about the main crux of it, which is the message. And
exactly.
Jerome, as the branding master, you would know that actually that's really important, because it has to be aligned with the theme of the entire program.
But at the same time, right? Because if you look around you, many speakers have raised their standards. Now, even non-professional speakers are running webinars, running programs, and they have raised their standards, which means that yes, we agree that the message needs to be powerful. It needs to be delivered in a way that connects to the audience. But at the same time, we cannot forget that this is still a performance, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is always a performance, and we're not there just to not there just to give facts or just spurt out all these points, but you have to do it in an entertaining and an engaging way, because that's the only way that these people will really remember. Because remember, at the end of the day, what we want is to produce results, and
Exactly.
that's very important for me. I'm sure it's important for you. So not just throw out the facts and then entertain the people, but make sure they also remember the points.
It is. Today when I was doing this, right? While I was playing with my tech, getting my message across, and if you know my style of speaking, like you are really high energy. So I'm energy, but not in the Eugene style. It's a Jerome Joseph style. I tell a lot of stories. Storytelling is my thing. You know, you really have to make sure that there is a perfect balance, balance so that you don't get overdo the tech, a perfect balance so that your message comes across that you are looking in the camera, because this is the problem, right? My camera is here and you're seeing me, but we tend to look down because we are reading what's on our screen. And
Just showing the forehead.
that's a challenge. So that balance is important. So I know my friend Andrew Bryan is down here, and Andrew is a professional speaker whom I respect and who admires. And really, when we started, when we moved into the virtual setting, Andrew was one of the first few that jumped on and said, "Hey, I am going to embrace the tech. I am going to embrace how we can make it a performance." And he has, really led the way in terms of how we do this. And I know you are doing that. So if you were to have 3 tips, right? 3 tips to someone, doesn't have to be a professional speaker. If you're a speaker, you're getting online, you're speaking to a large audience, what are 3 things that you want to tell them, Eugene?
I think number one is that you need to try it out at least, because a lot of them have a lot of fear on, say, doing my first speech virtually, and I personally have tried it out many times before I could even perfect it. So just have no fear and just go try it out. Whether it's a free or a paid gig, it doesn't really matter. But
Sure.
send that message out.
Great.
And the second one is to be really curious, about how to improve yourself. Because I think both of us have already spent countless hours going through the software and the tech and all that. But we love it. We love the idea that we need to grow in terms of the tech, grow and embrace all these things, these softwares and so on. So just got to be curious with it. And the third, I think most important one is to have fun, because we forget that we are actually talking to a crowd, and we want to show the people that we are having fun ourselves. So the best way to show that you're having fun is to really have fun. And I always enjoy it. And I'm sure Jerome, the same thing. He enjoys speaking about his topics as well.
Yeah. I love what I do. I mean, we both love what we do. The love needs to start first, isn't it? When you have the passion and you have a belief in the topic, it translates to the audience. So, folks, you heard it here. This is Eugene and Jerome Joseph. We are keynote speakers and who have now moved into the virtual world. Evil laughter.
And the beautiful thing, like right now, is it was impossible previously to do something like this, but it's we're trying it out. So if you got a good value, just leave us a message and give us a thumbs up.
Brilliant. And hey, everyone else who is professional speakers or non-professional speakers, remember, you got this, right? It's not as tough as it sounds, but as what Eugene says and what we've been saying is, firstly, have the passion and the belief that your message counts. Number 2, practice, work on it, right? Have your pre-routines, rehearse it over and over again. And when you're on there, when you're on and you're looking at the camera, give it everything you got. Because when you do that, the audience is going to believe in you. The audience is going to believe your message. And of course, having great technology helps.
Yes, definitely.
So this is Eugene. This is Jerome Joseph. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. This was so impromptu, isn't it, Eugene?
Impromptu is always best. Then you speak from the heart.
Exactly. It's nothing. We didn't rehearse this. We were just talking about, comparing notes for our gig, and we wanted to do this. And I hope you found value in it. My name is Jerome Joseph, and this is
Eugene signing off.
Signing off. Take care, everyone.